Hi guys, today I'm doing a, I hope, quite short tutorial about how to rig a hydraulic piston in APEX. It won't be a deep dive in APEX or anything, it will be more of how can you do it simply and easily. Of course, it's better if you have some knowledge of KineFX, and if you want to make a more complex system out of this, you will need to have knowledge about APEX. So for that I recommend the documentation, the tutorials of Max Ross and the Houdini forum. So let's go. So the rig, it's quite simple. It's just hydraulic piston made out of two parts. We can actually animate it from the one or the other side, and that's pretty much it. I will go really quickly also through another idea that's the same thing but with an IK constraint, so we can't go further than that, so it will be constrained. We can still get in and have a weird thing like this, but at least we can go out. And if we will develop something a bit more complex, like I'm doing for example here, for now it's just in KineFX, but the knowledge of how to do that can be handy. But I will just show you quickly how I approach that. But for this tutorial we will just do a simple piston, and so let's go in. Just before starting the APEX part, I will show you how to do it in KineFX. It is pretty much the same thing as tutorial from 3 years ago from Houdini 123. I'll put the link in the description. It's a bit longer and he will explain it much better. So it is just geo that has been captured back to these 2 points, so we'll have the right movement. What we also have, it's another point for the vector, the up vector. I created a bit differently than him, but it serves the same purpose. And most importantly, the rig attribute verb, where we get the point 1, 0 and the up vector, and we do a look constraint. So for the point 0 we do an X form and get out of that, and we use the point 1 as a lookout, and we do the inverse for the point 1, use it as X form and lookout as a point 0. And you will probably have to change the lookout axis and up axis depending on how you rig it, where your joints look at, of your orientation. So as you can see, this is the KineFX setup. It's pretty much it. I also have one with the IK chain, as I showed you. Does the same thing as in APEX. So we have an IK chain here. I put the mid name point 1 twice. I mean in mid name and tip name, because otherwise I think it wasn't working. So just to make it work, but in APEX we won't need the mid name, just the tip name and root name if we'll do it. But this part, it's not that important, so let's put it back like it was. Actually, we'll just put this here, and delete this. need it. And yeah, let's just check again. So for the geo, just a capture geo, simple one. I already packed it before, I unpack it, I transfer everything from the color, etc. And yeah, so capture geo 0, 1, 0.1, 0.0. And here, what's important, I do all my rigs this way. It's the basic setup, and I think you should stick it on to this for anything you're doing. If you need more inputs, you just add them. So I usually make also like blend shapes, skeleton blade shapes, or like a path or a guide or something. I'll add them here, but like I always start with these three. So base shape, base skeleton, guide scale. Also, many of the APEX autorig components won't work if you don't have this exact setup, like the FK transform won't work if you don't have it like this. So what else? So as I said, I created an up vector. It's just an offset transform of the 0.0. So just I offsetted it for 2 meters here. And as I showed you here, in the guide skeleton we will have the normal skeleton, so this one, the 0.0 and 0.1, also the vector, the up vector here. I call it up vector, just joint up that we use it for up. And we actually duplicate the 2 points 0 and 1 and rename them to control. So, and on these control points I also add a tag, so we will have them on. We can use the transform, so you can promote the transform like this. And I merge everything, so we will have 5 points. So the control and the point 0.1, 0.0, 0.0 control, 0.1 control, and the up vector. And so if we check here, it's really a simple setup. We use an APEX autorig to just initiate everything. We have here the 2 points. You can actually move them. Nothing happens. And the next node will be also one of the nodes that it's pretty much the base of any rig. It's a bond 4. So here we get the geo. We can see the geo like this. And this is the last node that we actually need. Everything else here, it's just for the IK constraint setup. So if we just want a simple setup, we can use the component lookat. Sorry, it's not like this, it's 2 components, 3. So I create 2 new components. I think you have something about an AI setup here, so you can delete everything, stop my video and just copy this setup if you want. And so I make first the driven 0.1, the driver is 0.1 controller, the target is 0.0 controller, up it's up vector, and the look at axis and looked up axis will probably depend on, again, how you set it up, your skeleton. For me it's -1, 1 for this one, and 1 and 1 for the 0.0, and I get exactly the same setup as in the KineFX. So the only difference is here it's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass to move it, because we can't move the whole rig if we want it like this. But there's a great a shortcut in APEX. I can shift and select both of the controls, get here on this control, like select the last one, the control 0.0 control, and shift control and move it. And so we can move it like this. Otherwise we could like just add a main control or like a cog or something, center of gravity, but it's going to be a bit more not complex but long to do, so I'm not going to do that. I just want to show you how I approach this kind of stuff and what was the idea for creating also the IK setup. So I just start usually with the autorig components that already exist, or I get from other hip files like you can get on Houdini, on the forum, or the files that they are sharing, like the Lucha and Chicken rig. That it's great for like learning a lot of stuff, although maybe you'll have some errors because it was done in the Houdini 20.0, but it can be you can make it work also in 0.5. It's great also. So what I have done, it's like used the smooth IK just to see what I get. The smooth IK, I put the root and the tip. I didn't even put the mid. It still works. Just I don't get the orientation, so I would need the orientation I have from the low-cut. I tried just to stack them up, but it won't work because they won't. We can't search for the right thing. Maybe we could like rename it something, but I don't think we should like redo and recreate the autorig null. And for myself, I'll actually do it, and I'll have an autorig component, so I can create much more easily stuff like this, and I don't need to edit graph it like here, like have some edits each time and redo it each time I have a problem. But like just for the sake of showing what I have done, it's actually taking the second null here from the IK smooth setup that looks no, I'm sorry, actually took it the first one, and it looks like this. So I checked what we got here, and we have the root, mid, and tip out. So as we can see, the mid out doesn't serve anything. So we have the point blend rotate, and that goes to the 0.1, and 0.0 that goes to the root out, that goes to the 0.0. And if we check this one, we'll see that what actually, it's not that, but I have to do another one. If we unpack it, and if you don't know what I'm doing, go check the Max Ross tutorials. I'm not going to explain what I'm exactly doing, but the process of what's like an unpack folder and edit graph. If you don't know, just check Max Ross tutorials. I just wanted to show you that like here we can see that in the lookat we have a lookat subnet. Actually what's important is this lookat here, and so I just checked how the lookat it's connected. So it's connected here from a rest point. It's connected from a point 1 control, and 0.0 control, and it goes to the lookat, and it goes into the X form of 0.1. So I just moved this lookout into the other setup and connected it after the smooth IK. So like you can see here, I may put the lookout like this. So in form it will be like the 0.1 blend rotate or the root out, because these two outputs were the one used in the other setup. I put it in the lookout. In the lookout also I will have to check this lookout axis and lookout axis and lookout up axis. So and then I'll connect it to X4 and I will get the same setup as I showed you in the KineFX, where I used IK to constrain it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If it's something that can interest people, I can make a tutorial on this thing. For now it's just in KineFX, but I can make it also in APEX for sure. It will take a little bit of time, a little bit of tinkering, but it shouldn't be that difficult to transfer it. I mean, to make it something like automatic, it will take a bit more time. I'm not that fast, but yeah, so let me know if like mechanical rigs can be something that interests you. I might consider doing other tutorials. Thank you and bye bye.